This is a story of courage. From deep in Texas, a redneck family rises and dares to defy male pattern baldness. 3 brothers, 3 carriers of terrible genetics, and a hair-raising adventure in Turkey.
Yes! I have my hair back!
Watch as we ditch our families, jobs, and responsibilities to venture to a land far, far away where miracles are known to happen. Why did we do it? How did it all go? Was it worth it? Why am I asking you all this? By the end of this video, you'll have all the answers and a whole bunch of TMI.
No, that's not blood.
We're going deep, so let's dive right in.
So, I'm part of a pretty big Pakistani American family. There's 5 of us brothers and then our younger sister. To make it as easy as possible for you, I'm not going to expect you to know all of our names, so I gave us nicknames to make the story very easy to track. So here's the 6 of us. The top 2 are twins, Joker and Tango. The D is silent, by the way. Then there's Golden Boy, Ryder, myself, and our younger sister. Now, as I mentioned, Joker and Tango are twins. Tango is the one who actually went ahead and already got his hair transplant 4 years ago. He traveled to Turkey completely alone, out of the blue, got his hair transplant, came back, and never really spoke about it again unless he was asked about it, but he's a kind of a secretive and mysterious guy.
We only got a handful of pictures from him, and this was one of them.
Oh my God!
Now, some people do get bruising after the procedure, but this was an exceptional case, I gotta say. None of us had bruising even remotely close to this after our transplants were done. So there you have it. He came out looking like a villain from a Disney movie.
Again, he didn't tell us about how the procedure went, how it went afterwards. Honestly, I'm glad he didn't tell me that much because I had done very little research, and if I knew some of the intricacies of the procedure and the recovery time, I might have backed out or I might have gotten more apprehensive. So that turned out for the better. But one thing I gotta tell you about Tango is he is thriving. His hair now, 4 years later, is all over the place. He's grown it out long, he's grown it out short, he's styled it in many different ways. It's like a bush, it's amazing. That really inspired and motivated us. It was always a tomorrow thing, like we'll go, next year, we'll go next year, I'll go next year. But one day it just happened. Spontaneously, a few months ago, me, Joker, and Ryder were sitting at a table having dinner, and one thing led to another, and the next thing I know, a few hours later, our flight was booked. We already had the clinic locked down, we put in our deposits, and all was done. So again, one brother, Tango, had gotten the hair transplant done already. 3 of us booked the hair transplant this time. That is Joker, Ryder, and myself. That leaves 2.
Golden Boy and Princess.
Golden Boy, and the reason we call him Golden Boy is because we consider him the most gifted one in our family. He's got virtually no hair thinning, he's got a straight nose, he's got the tallest height.
The only one more perfect than Golden Boy is Princess. As our only sister and youngest sibling, she had the most privilege to live her best life. And so Golden Boy and Princess tagged along with us, not for any procedure, but for the
We also made this a little pact that this is going to be only a siblings trip. That means no wives and no kids. One reason was obviously the expense, but the main reason I would say is because it was a medical trip. We knew that there wouldn't be a lot of time for sightseeing. But as a side effect of that, this also became a good bonding trip for us. Brothers and sisters going out together to Turkey, some of us getting our heads busted open. I mean, what's a better opportunity than that to bond with your siblings? And next time, well, if you ever want to fly singles or solo without the responsibility of kids, well, probably we gotta get something else busted up. Now the clinic itself, the place where we booked, is called Asli Tarjan. This is the same place where Tango went 4 years ago, and so he recommended it to us. He said it was a good experience, and we were not disappointed. I have to say, this place was fantastic. I absolutely recommend it for anyone going to Turkey for a hair transplant. Their customer service was great, not just before and during the procedure, but even after the procedure. We went back several times for washes, and we had a great experience every time. I could tell their employees were super happy because their smiles and kind treatment of us was so genuine. It wasn't just because we were their customers. I could tell that they just really enjoyed their jobs. And by the way, this is not a paid sponsorship. I got no benefit, no incentive from Asli Tarjan to give them this recommendation, but it really was a very good experience for us, so I have to be honest. Now, one thing that I think is fairly common knowledge about hair transplants, and you might already know this, is that you basically have to go bald. You have to embrace being shaved for several months while the hair is growing out. That's something that made me a bit apprehensive. I wasn't sure how I would look. This is, by the way, 1 month after the procedure. I wasn't sure how I was gonna look afterwards. So what did I do to tackle this anxiety? Well, I tackled it head on and I did a buzz cut just to get people around me used to that look a few weeks in advance. And so I'm not sure if that helped or not, but it gave me that peace of mind that people will see me with that look even during work meetings ahead of time, and it's not just going to be something after the procedure. So we flew from Texas to Istanbul via Turkish Airlines, obviously, Turkish Airlines. The rest of the logistics were made much easier by Asli Tarjan. They arranged our transportation from the airport to the hotel, they arranged our hotel for the first 3 nights, and they also arranged our transportation from the hotel to the clinic back and forth during this time as well.
So this was our ride from the airport. They couldn't make it more obvious if they wanted to. Here we are, hair transplant, plastic surgery. Yeah, why are they embarrassing us like this? Look at that. मगर उन्होंने हमें expose कर दिए. Yeah.
We were really impressed by the transportation, by the way. The inside of the van was like a limousine, and everything was amazing until my brother farted, and we found out that the windows cannot be opened.
This is a guy's travel experience for Johnny.
I told you not to come. It's just beginning.
Now, the night that we landed was our only night of freedom, and we didn't waste it. My brother Ryder is a huge fan of Salt Bay, and so we went out to Nusret for a fancy steak dinner and got hand-fed by the chefs there.
Yeah, that was good.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you, sir. Yeah. One more week. Yeah. He's like doing his own thing. पता नहीं आएगा. Yeah. Good stuff. Right there.
Angel.
Thank you.
For you. Special. Wow.
I feel like Mark Wiens right now.
Yes.
Like Mark Green.
Now, back to the hotel, we immediately knew we were in the right place because every other person had bandages around them, and so a lot of them were coming from Asli Tarjan, the same clinic that we were going to, and some of them were also being serviced by other clinics as well. But either way, we knew we were gonna fit right in, and so this was not something that would make us look super awkward after the procedure. I'm not gonna lie, this is where my anxiety started spiking a little bit. I knew we were in for something. Again, I had done very little research, but I knew this was gonna happen for sure. We made it this far. There's no backing out now. And well, it is what it is. My other brothers, especially Joker, he had no anxiety about it at all.
Umar was stirring the pot after destroying the bowl. He's just like
Very odd.
on the Tori.
Freaking seat, my back was hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Do that again.
Bringing it back. That was my
He's
fault. You like bring it
stirring things up.
around.
Yeah. Bring it around. Yeah, first you do this and that. Yeah.
And land on your left foot. Don't forget that.
Oh, even he remembers. Don't forget it.
I wish I was like him. He had zero concerns, and he had a great time during the whole trip, to be honest. We didn't get much sleep that night, obviously, because of the jet lag, and the next morning we woke up and we got our transportation to the clinic.
Right. Today's a big day.
Am I getting second thoughts?
Show the car.
Of course not. Yes, I'm getting second
Here.
thoughts. But they're already here. Yeah. So now we have to go through with it. There's no choice. Omar is not. He's like not worried at all. Karate ke baare. Anyway. Yeah. This might be the ride. Yeah. Asli thought not. Hair transplant, plastic surgery, dentistry.
Now, like I said, I had not done much research prior to the hair transplant, which is unlike me because I usually research everything. In my mind, this would be a 3-hour-long procedure. That's all. I had no idea what we were in for. This was a full day experience.
What are you thinking?
वो पेट मुड़ने जा रहे हैं ਅਸੀਂ बस अब हम थोड़ी देर में हमारी ये पेट जो है मुड़ी जाएगी.
By the way, quick note, this was an FUE hair transplant. Some people also get FUT or other types of hair transplants. Those might have different recovery times, so just take note of that. So we went into the clinic, we were greeted by the staff, and then we were taken to a room where we were carefully walked through the process, at which point we learned that, well, it's gonna take 7 to 10 hours on average.
In that time, we'll change your clothes and we'll prepare for the operation. Then we'll start with the shaving of your hair. Then we'll do the local anesthesia on the back of your head. Approximately will take around 20 to 25 minutes. After that, you'll be totally numb, you will not feel any pain. Then we'll start with the extraction of the grass from the back of the
After that little orientation, we were taken upstairs where the procedure would actually take place. By the way, this clinic is beautiful. I've never seen, especially a medical facility, look so calming and inviting, with such friendly faces too. So that really helped with calming the nerves a little bit. Now, before the procedure actually started for the three of us, we were given 0-clip buzz cuts. So that basically gave us the shaved look. And honestly, I thought it looked pretty good at that point.
It's really sad. I think it looks pretty good, man. Yeah. I think you don't need the hair transplant. Let's go home.
And so after that, the procedure started, and unfortunately, cameras were not allowed inside, so I cannot actually show you what happened, but I can walk you through it. So for me, it took about 9.5 hours. It was a long time. And for one of my brothers, for Ryder, it took 10.5 hours. The most painful part of the procedure is actually the beginning, when they're injecting you all around your head, mostly in the back of your head, with local anesthesia. By the way, for the whole time you are under local anesthesia, you are not knocked out. That will be general anesthesia. So you are fully awake for this procedure. And that's why it can be a bit discomforting just laying down for that long. The good news is that once the anesthesia takes effect, you won't feel much. You'll feel pressure, but you won't feel pain. But the process of getting that anesthesia in, that was painful because it took about, I would say 40 to 50 shots. I'm not sure, don't write that down, but it was a lot of injections. Now, even though I hadn't done much research about the transplant, the night before I did start looking into YouTube videos and TikTok videos to see how bad the pain is from the injections. And so I saw some pretty wild stuff with people claiming, oh, you know, things like, oh, I've been stabbed, I've been shot, this was worse. Just kind of exaggerating here, but it's nothing like that. People go through these transplants all the time. I will say, you imagine getting an injection in your arm and multiply that pain 3 to 5 times. It is more painful than that because it's going in your head. And then multiply that by 40 times because you're getting 40 different shots. So I know that sounds pretty bad, but for me, if I had to express the pain, it'd be like that. That's how I was. It wasn't like, I wasn't like gonna pass out or die anytime from that. Bottom line is, it is painful, but don't let that hold you back. People are getting it done all the time, and everybody has different pain tolerance levels. Now, out of the 9.5 hour procedure, the first half, or roughly the first 3 to 4 hours, is the extraction phase. This is when they're actually taking out the grafts from the back of your head, from the donor area, and safekeeping them. I would say the extraction phase is the most uncomfortable, not just because of the injections, but also you're laying on your stomach, and not in a good way. It's not like getting a massage. It's not really a fun laying down experience. So that was probably the most uncomfortable time for all of us. My brothers agreed on that. After the extraction phase, you get a half-hour lunch break. They bring you food, they talk to you a little bit, and then you head back to the room for the second half of the procedure, which is the implantation phase. The implantation phase, I would say, is a lot more comfortable than the extraction phase. All of my brothers agreed on that, and even the clinic told us that. A big reason for that is because you're laying on your back a little bit upright. You're not on your chest anymore. So you can just breathe a little bit better. Not comfortable in a sense that, well, would I rather be at the beach with a book? Yeah, I'd rather not be there at the clinic. All things considered, this is a lot more comfortable, and you'll get through the day after that just fine. The most uncomfortable thing about this whole thing is just the laying down for 9.5 hours part. It's a long and meticulous process. Let's just say we were all exhausted by the end of it, and it was a weird type of exhaustion because all we did was lay down. It's not like we were running a marathon, but our body was keeping the score. You know, when you're laying down for so long, you start thinking a lot. You start wondering, you start daydreaming. I even dozed out for a little bit of time, but then the pressure up here, not the pain, just the pressure, it woke me back up. But you do start overthinking. Now, remember, we were in Turkey, so everybody around us was speaking in Turkish, including the staff. They did speak English to communicate with me, but with each other, obviously, they were speaking in Turkish. So at some moments, you know, they would be laughing and joking with each other while they were operating on my head. And other times it would become really quiet. And then somebody would walk out of the room and somebody would walk into the room and they'd all be doing like talking about my head and saying different things. And then sometimes that chatter would become quieter. And then I'd start wondering, okay, did they screw something up here? And so sometimes the joking and the chatter would die down and they would start talking a bit more serious while poking my head. And I'd be like, what the hell did you guys do? But at the end, I asked them, how did it all go? And they said, don't worry, everything went super well. At the end of the procedure, I asked the nurse, how did it all go? And she said, it is good, it is great, it is perfect. And that's all the comfort that I needed. The last thing they do at the end of the procedure is they bandage the side and the back of your head, covering your donor area. The top of your head, where the grafts were implanted, is covered with antibiotic creams, but it is kept open.
तेजा मैं हूँ मार्क किधर है भाड़ में गया मार्क मैं इधर हूँ नहीं यार मैं तेजा हूँ मार्क किधर है मैं तेजा हूँ.
And after everything was done, we were given post-procedure instructions, medications, and creams that included a painkiller and antibiotics. And after that, we were given a ride back to the hotel where we debriefed in a hotel room and just moaned to each other about our life's woes.
Maybe you need it. But this was 9 hours of just laying down. At some point,
Not even 9, bro. Mine was like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Nah, you guys were gone forever.
Yeah.
What, 8 a.m. till
I mean, they don't even let you
8
move
p.m.?
because they're like, you know, they got like these needles and all that stuff. They're like, don't move. They're very uncomfortable after.
Very frustrating.
The TK were not that. Recovery. There's one guy. Umar bhai dena smoke kar rahe thale. He's getting his nose job tomorrow. Like literally tomorrow. He's gonna go in.
तो आज उसकी कंसंट्रेशन हो गई है.
He got the hair transplant.
And then when he was getting in the van, he got bumped it.
Don't say that. In one year from now,
Yeah, you'll enjoy the hair.
yeah, you're gonna be like, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah, but it
also the
still
nose.
was very frustrating. Like, I will still not come back to it.
Yeah, you don't.
That's what everybody says.
I
that's the
don't,
thing.
like,
Yeah, but 2 months later, you'll be like, actually, it was good.
No.
Like when it was worth it.
And to be fair, it was a shock to all of us that it would take so long. Like I said, I thought it would be just a 3-hour procedure, so that's on me. It turned out to be much longer than that. But again, going back to our brother Tango, who had gotten this procedure done, he didn't tell us shit about all of this. He didn't tell us how long it would take. He didn't even give us a warning or anything like that, but probably for the best. Now, what I just described so far is the procedure itself. The post-op, or the phase following the procedure, is also not a walk in the park. I will say the night of the procedure is the most uncomfortable because of the way you have to sleep. Now, you have to sleep the same way, by the way, for at least 10 nights, they told us. You have to sleep upright on a raised pillow, so ideally 2 pillows, and sleep upright facing the ceiling. So when you're laying down and your donor area here, even though it's bandaged up, when it touches the pillow, you feel a lot of pressure and some pain, and it does wake you up. Remember, you can't sleep on your side. We really wanted to sleep on our side, but you're not allowed to because the pressure in your head would cause the grafts to get damaged and they could potentially fall out. So that was uncomfortable. In terms of sleep in general, we stayed in Turkey about 10 days after the procedure, so that was about a 2-week trip. And during the whole time, I didn't really get much sleep. That was due to the jet lag and then also the discomfort of laying down, not being able to sleep a certain way. And so I only slept in chunks. I would say on a typical night, I was lucky to sleep 2 or 3 hours without waking up. I would wake up, stay up for a little bit longer, and then I'd go back to sleep. So I was sleeping like that in chunks. One other thing that you should know about sleeping, and it's a bit of TMI, it's that your head will leak. And this will happen especially on the first night. So it's a day after the hair transplant procedure, and I just woke up. I had, obviously not the most comfortable sleep ever, but I woke up to this. Ugh, I don't even want to. Basically, my pillow's full of this bloody mixture of, just blood and liquid and saline and stuff, which I said is quite normal. So the back of your head is constantly going to be draining, especially because of the pressure on it. But it's good for those fluids to come out. The leakage continues for a few more days, and for me, it completely stopped at day 4. For my brothers, it took another day, so it can vary a little bit. Thankfully, our hotel, because they were dealing with customers like us all the time, they were used to this, so they were expecting this, and housekeeping was taking care of it, and they were replacing the pillows. But in case you're going for a hair transplant and your hotel is not like that, definitely let them know, let the staff know. And I will say keep extra towels with you, and also definitely give housekeeping a tip every day if you can for all that they're going through with you. At the end of the second day, we got our bandages removed and we had our first wash. The washes can also be a bit uncomfortable, by the way, because the donor area is still quite a bit tender. And so the soreness does reduce over the next few days, but as it reduces, their hands also get rougher.
The things we do for beauty.
Yes.
Beauty hurts.
No heart. No heart, sir.
Yeah.
After that, we went almost every day for our morning wash at Asli Tarjan. Our routine was to wake up in the morning, have our breakfast, take our Uber to the clinic, and then get our wash done. We'd be greeted and welcomed by the staff who were always happy to socialize with us, and then we'd be taken inside by our hairstylist, hair technician, hairdresser, I don't know what to call it, but her name was Sevgi, which is Turkish for love. And she was a very lovely person. We built a pretty good bond with her. She got to know us on a first name basis, and we'd always come out of there feeling super great after she was done.
I feel good.
Close your eyes.
Like that.
Okay.
Surprise! Yeah.
Touch it, sir. Touch it, touch it.
Yeah.
Touch it, touch it.
Wow! I can feel my hair.
Can't finish.
Yes! I have my hair back. Asli Tarjan.
Honestly, we actually enjoyed going there every morning. We looked forward to it because also it gave me an opportunity to socialize with the other customers, the other patients who also had the same treatment. It gave us an opportunity to socialize with the staff there and also get inspected and get taken care of by the professionals versus having to maintain and do the shampoos and conditioning ourselves back at the hotel. So we didn't have to worry about any of that. Now, as I mentioned, Sevgi was a person who was actually doing our hair washes, and she knew exactly how to do it properly. She was very delicate with the top where the grafts were, and she was very rough sometimes on the back, the donor area.
Still burns a little bit, but yeah, it's good.
But slowly massage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt like that's what we needed to accelerate the healing process. I knew if I was doing this myself at home, at the hotel, I would have been much more forgiving to myself. But hey, that probably would have slowed down the healing. So she knew what she was doing and we trusted her.
Hey, mashallah.
Yeah. So this is why I come here.
Wallah, very good.
Very good? Yeah.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, that's why I come here. She's the expert. She knows how to wash better than me. All right.
And when the time was right, about 7 days after the procedure, she also started detecting and taking off the scabs, both on the donor area and the top of our head.
Ew.
That
Wow, yes.
Now, by the way, none of this was required after the second day. We could, and we had the option to take care of this ourselves, meaning the shampoos, the medications, the ointments at the hotel. But we just felt way more comfortable coming in. So it was optional, but we wanted to come in. We got the PRP once or twice. We got the checkups and we got the washes. And so it was just much more comfortable. We were there anyway, so why not? Sevgi and I had a little bit of a language barrier. She spoke a little bit of English and I spoke virtually no Turkish. But even then we were able to communicate with each other.
Oh, a little bit coming up. Yeah.
Sorry, ama slow.
No problem, no problem. Yeah. Looks good.
Mashallah, sir.
Yeah.
She would say words like family a lot, like she's our family.
Sir, very good.
Very good.
Sir, thank you.
Yeah.
Family, okay?
Huh?
Family.
Family.
Me family.
Yeah, she's family for sure. Yeah.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
That's my sister.
Sister? No, sister, me sister.
Oh, okay.
My big sister.
Yes.
She's my little sister.
And she would say slowly massage and just things that would just make you feel great. She would also always tell me what she was going to do. Like, I'm going to tap your head with the lotion and I'm going to massage your donor area. So I knew exactly what was coming.
Sir, lotion.
Yeah.
10 dakika.
Okay.
Okay. Slowly tapping.
Yeah.
Shampoo. Yes, biz yaparız ama.
Putting on shampoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tapping.
Yep.
Donor area massage.
Yeah.
Okay. Massage.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, after that morning routine, we'd have the whole day to ourselves. So we'd take the Uber back to the hotel and then we'd start our day. We definitely took time to explore Istanbul. We did not let the bandages and the hair transplant stop us. So we definitely explored the city.
हम हैं गंजे ये दुनिया जान ले
Taklu number 1.
This is really good.
Taklu number 2.
And I feel
Taklu number 3. Their taklus on a walk.
Istanbul, I would say, is a land of donors. Both donors of food and donors, meaning the donor area, own people. So I would say it's a perfect second name for the city if it ever needed one. You'll see people walking around in the markets, outside, everywhere, with bandages around their head and bruises from the hair transplants. So we knew we were not the only ones, and we weren't gonna stick out like sore thumbs. We even had an Uber driver who had just gotten his hair transplant. So it wasn't just us.
Oh brother, you also got hair? Mashallah. Oh.
Painful? Big problem.
Mashallah.
10 hours operation.
Yeah, 9 hours. 9 hours, man. Very long.
Good holiday, Mr.
Yeah.
Alaikum salam.
Good luck.
Inshallah.
Good luck with your hair, okay?
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Another thing is Istanbul loves cats. I definitely noticed that and I love that about the city. Cats and dogs were everywhere, but from my understanding they were mostly vaccinated, so they were quite safe actually, and they were not rabid. They were very friendly and they were actually taken care of by the people over there. We saw a lot of shop owners and restaurants just feeding cats. Cats were coming in and out of shops, in and out of masjids and mosques and markets, so they were very welcome over there. We also caught this guy who looked like M. Bison from Street Fighter. I had to catch that one. He was selling lotto tickets. I don't know why he was dressed up like that. He did not know about Street Fighter. I asked him.
I'm Bison. Psycho Crusher.
Mostly in Istanbul, we stayed around Taksim Square. That's where our hotel was. And from there, we went to the Grand Bazaar sometimes. We took an Uber wherever we wanted to go. But we also hung around a lot in Taksim as well. And I gotta say, despite the pouring rain, it was raining most of the week that we were there, which was kind of a bummer, by the way. But despite that rain, it did not stop people from going out. Even us. We had umbrellas, of course, right? We were there as tourists, so we had to explore a little bit. We were not going to let the rain stop us. But other people as well, and not just tourists, but also the locals, they were everywhere in Taksim. And it was just so packed sometimes. This was the week of Christmas and the end of year holidays, by the way, but it was so packed that I think it could really give Times Square a run for its money. It was that busy in terms of foot traffic. So, all said and done, do I recommend getting a hair transplant? If you're thinking of getting one, you might want to watch this part. So I know we talked very negatively about the procedure after the first day, but remember, that was the first day, and that negative sentiment is really high after you're, been sitting there and the wounds are really fresh. Literally. The wounds are really fresh, and you've been laying down there for hours and hours. So that sentiment is going to be there sometimes, and also, like I said, it took us by surprise. In retrospect, when I compare ourselves to the other patients who were there, the other people who were getting hair transplants, they seemed a lot more accepting of what had happened to them and what they had gone through. They were definitely a lot more accepting of it than us, and I think it's because they did their research, they knew exactly what they were coming in for, and so I think doing your homework can really help. Now, at the same time, obviously I'm not going to say that it's a walk in the park. There is the discomfort of the procedure, during and after the procedure, the recovery time as well. There's also the financial aspect of it. For those of you that like to work out, you will not be able to exercise for at least a few weeks. Some doctors even recommend refraining from any heavy workouts for at least a month. Personally, I was back at pickleball after about 2.5 weeks, and then I was lifting weights at the 3-week mark. But yeah, you will have to sit out of the gym for a little bit of time. We were on medication for 10 days. That included antibiotics, blood circulation meds, and other pills. There's just a lot of pills that you have to pop in general. And then there's creams to apply to your head, there's special shampoos, there's a special lotion that you apply to your head as well. So there is the maintenance aspect of it too. The first question I would ask you is, do you have a complex? Do you have a hair complex? Meaning, is this something that you feel is part of your identity? And so I got the perfect suggestion to help you answer that. Grab a clipper and just run it through your head. And honestly, you might be surprised, because I was surprised by the way I looked, and I thought, well, this is something I could get used to. And even if you don't like it, that helps you answer that question. And so you do feel some sort of affinity to your hair, and that can help you assess whether you have a hair complex or not. I've had many different looks over the years, and I found that this shaved/buzz cut look was actually quite nice, and it got me quite a few compliments as well. Some people even told me to just keep the look. So I know now that in the future, if I start thinning again, I'm going to embrace it. I'm not even going to fight it anymore. I'm just going to keep it. The second question I'd like to ask you is, how well do you do with medical procedures? Personally, I've had my fair share of being in the hospital, medical settings. It's obviously not something that I enjoy. I've had general anesthesia many times for other procedures. I've been poked many times all over my body by doctors. Not in a bad way. And so even though this is all very irritating to me, I've built a tolerance to it. If you think you have that kind of tolerance as well, and you can go through a medical procedure like this, and then also take care of yourself and go through the recovery after that, if you think you can take that short-term discomfort for long-term gains, then this might be right for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video walkthrough of our hair transplant experience in Turkey. And if you have any questions, definitely type a comment below. And if you want to see more content like this, give us a like and subscribe, because I have a lot more content that I'd like to share. Thank you.